Alright, welcome back to another somewhat of a gun build in Modern Warfare. Today we're going to be looking at another shotgun uh, that is not the 725, oddly enough. I was originally going to go over to, give you the best sniper class, which I came across something pretty interesting. Obviously, the 725, if you don't already know, is supposed to be a shotgun that you can convert into somewhat of a sniper. You can have the largest barrel, which is about 32 inches, the competition barrel, or Tempest 32-inch competition. Uh, the choke is what I would put on here. The sniper scope, or the Brownlee 32mm scope. The Forge Tac Commander, and ammunition for slug rounds, so you can get that extra distance and you're not using buckshot, which only shoot about 8 meters or so, which is a pretty good distance, but that's normally where shotguns will go at. So this is supposed to be a sniper, and oddly enough in this game, chokes and longer barrels make it to where it is more accurate for slug rounds. If you don't know how the slug rounds work in this game, it's more or less how they do in real life. When you fire the slug round, it's going to be a lot slower than the normal pellets. Obviously, it's not going to shoot out with a bunch of pellets, so you can't get like a huge radius of having potential damage. So it's more for long range engagements, but it has slow velocity to it due to the shotgun not having a rifling built into the barrel, which all rifles do when you're normally shooting normal rounds. And in this game, it is incredibly inaccurate. Again, like, you could put the barrel and the choke and stuff to it. That's the only reason why you would ever want to use a choke. It says a tighter pellet spread, but it really doesn't do anything to the buckshot. If you're going to go with buckshot, you might as well just use the monolithic or something. This doesn't do anything for the buckshot, but it does help out the slug rounds. So that makes it a lot more accurate, so you can kind of get a little bit more of a sniper build to it. Now, 6 times out of 10, you're going to be hitting all your shots. It's still a pretty good amount of missing. Your bullets are not, or the slugs are not going to really hit anything a whole lot. It does just about as much damage as any of the sniper rifles, so that's what I mean. It wants to be a sniper rifle. That's how you're supposed to convert it. Recently, apparently there was some type of stealth buff, I guess, to the slugs in the 6-round magazine for either the VLK Rogue or the Model 680. I picked out the Model 680 shotgun, and this is what I've used to actually make it more accurate than the 725 sniper rifle, like with the slug rounds. And it's a lot better too, in my opinion, for the certain attachments that it has. But let's go ahead and take a look at it. Let's go ahead and start off, I guess, with the ammunition. They had an update. I don't know why it's not showing the actual magazine, it's showing the barrel here, but they had several updates ago. They had 12 or 6-round magazines, detachable magazines that you can have on the shotgun. They have just a normal buckshot rounds. They have the slug rounds, which are the ones I'm going to be using, and then there's dragon breath rounds, which is pretty much incendiary ammunition, which will light people on fire. Which is incredibly overpowered for the shotgun. I mean, the shotgun already does a bunch of damage, but that just kind of like holds it. Or if someone's right outside the range, then it still kills them. It's pretty good. You can also have like the Dragon Breath rounds normally in the tube instead of the 6-round mag, so you can actually customize your barrel. That's the only downside. As you can see there in the description, it says not compatible with custom barrels. It's like a trade-off. You can have better magazine and better reloading for one attachment slot being not usable, I guess. What I've used the slug round or 6-round magazines, one is because with the barrel, oddly enough, it gives you a tighter pellet spread. As you can see in the pros, it has a massive amount. That's where I think the stealth I guess buff came into play. It is a lot better than having the longest barrel, the best choke, or anything like that, or the suppressor all on the gun normally, because normally you would use like the Dragon Breath rounds like here, I guess. It is way better than that. This is going to be a lot shorter, but oddly enough, it has a way tighter pellet spread, which means it's way more accurate for slug rounds. Again, this doesn't actually apply to real life. It doesn't. If you have chokes or a longer barrel, that really doesn't help out your slugs at all. It's not a pellet or it's not a shell, so it doesn't really help you out that much. But it does in this game because it's a video game. There has to be some type of reason for it. Cons being, you know, movement speed and damage radius. Of course, because, you know, it's a slug. It's not going to have the huge radius. Damage range is increased because it's normally giving you practically a sniper rifle round. Actually, more or less like a DMR. It's not going to kill someone in one shot usually, unless you're hitting the upper chest. But it's going to be normally 2-shot if you shoot any lower. So a headshot's definitely going to be always a 1-shot kill. Of course, since it's being a 6-round magazine, you can make quick reloads out of it. So that thing already has a bunch of upsides to it. Unfortunately, what they do not say is that the barrel gives you a massive amount of aiming stability loss. So I try to combo 2 attachments with that. I mean, you can change up one if you want, like the underbarrel. You can use like the Merc foregrip right here to give you recoil control and aim down sight speed. Since you are using slug rounds, that would make sense. But I use the Lockwood Precision series, and this is a variant. This is what the default one looks like. It's like a Lockwood. I'm using the Hush variant to kind of go with the color of the gun, but it gives you recoil control and aiming stability. Cons being aim down sight speed, which is not going to be too hurtful because this gun's already a lot shorter, so it's not that heavy. And walking movement speed, you're not going to worry about that too much because essentially this is now a sniper rifle or DMR. We're going to go to the Forged Tack Marauder. This is better than the Choke because it's obviously the next attachment down, so it's going to be a lot better. It's going to give us sound suppression, a little bit more range, as you can see there in the stats. There's a Choke for the range is like in the red. Go to here and it's in green now. So it gives us a little bit more range there. Cons, aim down sight speed again. This is like pretty much decent, if not good, for the shotguns. Aiming, walking steadiness is hurt a little bit there. I gave it the tack laser for aim down sight speed to kind of help out with those 2 aim down sight speed losses. Aiming stability is what I was really going for here though. And aim, walking steadiness kind of counteracts the muzzle or the suppressor. Cons, laser being visible to enemies. You don't need to worry about too much unless you're in hardcore. And normally in core it's a lot more dim. I don't know if you've ever realized that aspect. But here for the optics, I just went with a reflex sight. But you can really go with anything. Of course, you know, bigger the sight, the heavier it's going to be, and a little bit slower it's going to be. So keep that in mind. I just use the reflex sight. It just gives me a little bit of clear picture, and that's why I use the aiming stability attachments to make it to where it doesn't wobble as much when I'm aiming down sights, because before I put these things on, it did have a large amount of sway when you're aiming down sights here. So altogether, this is a little bit better, or actually a lot better than the 725. You can see the difference in the length. The Fire Drake, or that's what the barrel, or the, what is it, the variant that I used for this gun, that's the original version of it for the barrel and everything, or the Model 680. It is a lot shorter than the 725, but the 725 has had several nerfs in the past, but it still looks good. But this is better. Again, it doesn't hit as hard. The 725 hits you like a sniper rifle, like a legitimate large sniper rifle. It will kill you in one shot almost anywhere except for like the lower leg or foot. This thing, you have to hit in the upper chest or in the head to kill someone one shot. But I think it's pretty cool for a shotgun, and it's odd because no one ever talks about this. I think they'll eventually catch on to it. But it's a pretty cool looking gun. As you can see here, is the secondary weapon underneath it for the blueprint. It says Fire Drake. I got this one as red tracer because it shoots red tracers anyways. We can go ahead and jump into a match if you want to. You can also just take off the sight. I mean, you can use the iron sights just fine. And you can put on like sleight of hand to get that increased reload speed there for your 6-round max. You got yourself essentially a slower shooting DMR, technically. I was trying to jump into a game. Now, again, it is using slug rounds. It's a lot more accurate than the 725. And the 725 does land most of its shots, or some of its shots, like most of the time. And this gun is a lot better, but don't ever expect it to actually hit 100% of the time. It is very accurate, but it's not that accurate. It's still slugs. As you can see, when I'm aiming down sights there, it's not too bad. Now, I am running cranked to make it to where I'm able to aim down sights a little bit better. Let's see if I can hit someone here. Now it's a little close. If I can stretch it out a little bit. There you go. You can reload and it's just pretty quick there. I mean, you can also put on a 5 milliwatt laser if you want. You can want to deal with that aiming sway. Okay, that's just on me. But yeah, as you can see, they're the ones that I'm actually aiming at them and not missing. It's been hitting them for the most part every time, which is pretty neat. I think this is actually pretty cool, since like it's a shotgun that is essentially now a sniper rifle or DMR. Look at that. 3 kills in a row without missing a shot. Now, again, don't ever expect this to completely, like, always trust it 100% of the time. It is still slugs, but it will mostly get the shot set down. So far, it's been pretty well. Now, as you've seen, I got myself a hit marker. I hit, like, either his arm or, like, his lower chest. More in the abdomen kind of area. I don't really care if I die or not. These are just bots. It's just using his target practice. But let me see if I can switch over to 725 and shoot someone. And you can kind of see the difference. Okay, so I hit him there.
Need recon on my position.
I'll lay up that thing out of DMR. So this is hitting guys pretty well. Again, this is supposed to be a sniper, so it hits pretty well, or it lands most of his shots, but it's worse than the Fire Drake or the Model 680. It's a lot slower too, so that's another upside I can get. Wait, I'm just probably missing him all this. That's on me. These shots are on me. And when you are sniping, quotation marks around that, yeah, see, it's landing most of the shots, but the Model 680 is a lot faster in this kind of way here. It has a 6-round mag, so it's pretty cool. But when you're sniping, technically, with these slug rounds, for either the Model 680 or the 725, you keep in mind, again, they are slugs. They will have some bullet drop to them. You're not going to, you know, like laser someone across the map, you know, like you would with a Barrett 50 cal now, I guess. Well, I thought this was like a pretty cool design because it is a lot shorter than the 725, so it gives it a lot more range. It does technically give it more accuracy, and though it does not state that in the what is it? Stats of the gun. I'll tell you the accuracy is way higher for the 725, but that's a lie. I don't understand why they would show that. Probably to do to like the aiming stability and stuff I got on there, but this gun is way better. And you know, it has a 6-round detachable magazine that you can use. Yeah, it's a lot smaller than the base 10, which is a 2-fed one, but it's in my opinion a lot better. Because it's more or less like a trade-off, you know. You would have the 6-round mag. When you shoot one round, you have to reload them all. Or when you shoot one round for the tube, or the tube-fed magazine, I guess, you just need to pop like one shell in. But if you just keep firing several shells at once, or in quick succession, then you know you have to load every single one of them. That's kind of like, you know, the downside of it, and that takes forever. So it's more of a trade-off, but I do like this a lot better because it's more or less like, you know, a DMR now. It's just pump action. Again, I'm using 2 attachments, helping out with aiming stability, and you know, like one with aim down sight speed, which is the attack laser. The slug round, 6-round magazine slugs. You guys? No stock on there. I am also running the Marauder suppressor, or the Forge Type Marauder. That was on me, I missed that completely.
Sentry gun's hot.
We've got a UAV on station, ready for
So this is
flyout.
pretty cool. I definitely recommend checking it out. It's pretty viable multiplayer. You just got to remember it's a sniper rifle, not a shotgun at this point, or a DMR, I should say. And it looks cool, I guess. And they finally got it to where these things actually hit somewhat consistently here with some of the shotguns.
UAV is bingo fuel. RTB for resupply.
Originally, they were absolutely awful. Almost every single update, they have had at least one buff, either to velocity or bolt velocity, which it's still really slow on. I can see why they needed it.
Got a sentry gun on station.
And then there's one of them where it has a little bit less, you know, random spread, and I think that's what really made them a little bit more handier. So they're not a complete waste of attachment. So.
Sentry gun down.
Sentry gun's hot.
Okay, apparently you can only have one sentry gun in this game. I haven't really tested that out too much. As you can see, almost 100% of the time, it has been hitting every one of his shots. And it's pretty neat. Let's see if I can get myself I want to go ahead and end it, and I want to go back to the screen so you can kind of see the attachments.
Hard bomb, well earned.
Again, if you want to, you could just use the iron sights for the shotgun. It's not that bad. But if you are using it like a long-range gun, then I do recommend having, you know, some type of clear sight or a sight picture. That's why I just run the reflex sight on there. It's nothing too big. So what you could do is go to here. You can remove this sight, and you can put on like sleight of hand, so you can pop off a couple more shots and reload faster. And I think this knocks it down to like a little less, or a little more than 1 second. It's like 1.3 seconds or something like that. So it's pretty fast. If you want to, you can also take off, you know, the underbarrel for the aiming stability. You could throw on like a Merc foregrip or something. But I do not want to handle that sway, and it's a lot easier for me, and it looks nice, I guess. So this is the Model 680. It should be, you know, the first gun. Yeah, right, or yeah, Model 680 right here. This is what it looks like at base, and you can turn it into essentially a slightly better 725. Actually, a lot better. Way faster reload, more accuracy in it, and faster aim down sight speed, I guess. It does not have a sniper scope to it, but you can probably get like the next best thing, I guess, with a scout optic or something that you can get close enough to. I believe this is the highest magnification you can go to, but it's still pretty good. So I hope you guys enjoyed this this gun build. It was definitely interesting when I figured this stuff out. I've been using the 6-round mags for like Dragon's Breath, but I never actually tried out the slugs yet, and I've been messing around and custom match and figured out it's a lot better. As you can see here in accuracy, it has a pretty good ways to go, I guess, into getting to the max, and you can kind of see where it is there. We go over to the 725. It has slightly more accuracy from what it says, but that is not the case. And also says it has a lot more range to it as well, because it had a longer barrel, I guess, or something. It was supposed to be more for a sniper rifle build, but they nerfed it so much, so I don't know if the stats are completely correct with it. So there you guys go. You can either, you know, like run sleight of hand with the slug rounds, or, you know, get yourself a scope, more or less like this, and just snipe with it. And again, it doesn't hit as hard as the 725. That's probably like the only downfall to this build, comparing it to the 725. It now hits more or less like a DMR instead of a normal sniper rifle. And you just keep that in mind, shoot for the upper chest or in the head, and you usually get yourself consistent one-shot kills. Do account for bullet drop, and don't completely trust the slug rounds. Even though 98% of the time they're going to be landing their shots, you don't know. You know, it could probably stray off just slightly. So all those things to keep in mind, and I hope you guys like this gun build. I'm trying to figure out like awesome ideas and stuff. Mostly they've been based off of shotguns and stuff because they have such weird and unique attachments to it. You can make some pretty cool stuff out of it. But I've been trying some with the SMGs and stuff like that for future videos. So I hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you in the next one.